Welcome, crafty people. Today is all about the DIY. We're going to be using inexpensive or actually free material. Stick around for an interesting video. I want to send out a special thank you to Sutherlands for letting me have some of these supplies at no cost. Sutherlands is a lumber and hardware store in the U.S. with 49 stores in 13 states. A friend of mine that works there also saved me some bits and pieces heading to the dumpster. Recycle, restore, reinvent. We received quite a lot, so let's focus on what we're actually going to use for today. There are small and large paint sticks, a sample that looks really neat, and an odd piece of plastic. We also have a lid. Let's start with these paint sticks. We have two different sizes. The regular paint sticks are a foot long, 1 inch wide, and 1/8 of an inch thick. The larger ones are 21 inches long, 1.5 inches wide by 1/4 of an inch thick. They have Sutherlands on one side. I wonder if it will sand off so I can use both sides for a project. Let's see. Yes, it does, but it has an imprint, so you'll need to sand a little bit harder and make it thinner to get the imprint off. That's neat. An easy first one is a cutting board. Let's make one out of both of the sticks, one large and one small. Next up, we have this piece. Looks like a marble countertop, and that's the sample for what it is. A Formica countertop. This looks like it's in a bathroom though. That would be very pretty in a bathroom. I have this box right here. I think it's about the right height already, and it comes with a built-in door. So all I have to do is reinforce it, cut these off, and we can start to decorate. Let's get to work. Let's see if I have to do any cutting on this. Looks pretty close. I may only have to trim a tiny bit, but what I'm going to do is have this hang over the back, and then I'm going to have it go in. That way the whole top is marble. And I may just go ahead and have it go all the way down the back for stability. Less cutting, less work. I'm going to use some tacky glue for this. Spreading it liberally all along the bottom. That should be good. I did trim this off just a hair. I am not sure what's going on with the coloring for this video, but please forgive me. I'm going to put this in here, slide it in the back, make sure all the points are touching. And I'm going to let this dry before I start on the rest. That way I know it's really stuck. See, it wants to come up. So now all I have to do is put something in here to keep it weighted down. Let's use this. Ta-da! Let's take these off and see if it is stuck. Looks good. And look, well, no, maybe not. I thought it might, but I don't think so. Let's go ahead and do it on the top and see how it goes. Putting it back and very carefully starting at the middle. No. Ooh, it's a little off. Just a hair off. I think we can still work with it though. Let me go ahead and put a little bit in this. Put these back on here. I set this on here. Now to let it dry. After making this one, I decided to go ahead and try another one, but simpler. I still like this one. I decided to also make it thicker, so I used it out of the 5-gallon one. I cut it. I think it'll be a good one. And then I just did something simple and curved the edges on 2 of the sides. And this one has a really good texture, looking like wood grain. I may just leave it like this. What do you think? This looks like it is done. Well, dried anyway. So now I have more surface area to attach the trim. Looking good. My trim is going to be popsicle sticks. I wanted something fairly thin that would be easy to work with to go around the edge, but yet still come down enough that it'll hold it securely on top. let's get working. Since I know that one isn't going to work, it's a good thing I'm going to stain this as well. I'm trying to get them to look all similar, so they look like they all came from the same piece of wood. I really like that knot on there for something later. All right, that should be enough. I'm estimating that I will need 3 sections after I cut off the ends to go around. 2 would be good, and then 1 each for the ends. Awesome, let's do it. First, I'm just going to cut off the ends. There we go. Now to do it for the rest of them. Now you know why I chose the popsicle sticks. Whole lot easier, and I don't have to use a handsaw. Oops, sorry about that. They all tended to go toward my mini-me. Thankfully, she wasn't damaged. You can put your arm down, mini-me. I did my measuring, came up that this is 8 inches long by 3 1/4 wide. So did these at 4 inches to go around the long sides, and these go on the end, and they're 3 1/4. 4 of these and 2 of those. I'm gonna cut these and then we can start gluing. So let's start with this. Putting it all the way down, even on the thin piece. I wanna make sure this part is definitely well covered. Decide which piece I want on the outside and attach. I'm gonna hold it here for a little bit just to make sure that it's sticking good. Make sure it's level with that end as well. This may take a while, but for you, only a couple of seconds. I did forget to sand these down a little bit. Almost dropped it. Now that I've got that on there, to begin, it doesn't matter where you put it, I don't think, as long as you get it lined up well. Where it still is wet, you're able to move it. Like me, I didn't get it all the way down here, so there's gonna be a gap if I had let it dry the other way. Now I can push it in, and ta-da. So this is how it's gonna look. I'm gonna sand these so they're more flush, but it's just gonna go all the way around. Now for this side, and it's these. Let's try it on the table, and it fits like a glove. To be honest, I'm not sure if I'm going to stain this or not. I really like the look of it as is. I am going to do some touch-ups. It truly looks like it is a farm table. Totally cool. As you can see, I have this drying in the background, so let's go back to the counter. It should be dry by now. One of the guys at Sutherlands drinks Monster. This is one of the caps. I noticed it had a blue rubbery feeling, I guess it's a waterproof seal in there. Let's see what happens when I take it out. Let's use this. As you can see, it's not attached. There we go. Pops right out. Absolutely perfect for the miniature dollhouse. 1/6 scale. Bon appetit. They saved me a couple of pieces and parts. This is one of the weirder pieces. You can see it says slide. Be honest, I don't know where this came from, but it looked cool and I immediately recognized something. Do you see it? Comment if you guess it right. I'm gonna take these 2 pieces off. It is slightly hard plastic. Alright, I think it's ready to start. I found this piece of index paper and we're going to measure it from there to there. So it's about there. This may or may not end up in my scale, but that's okay. It'll be cool. So I'm wanting to make it about this diameter. Now do you get what I'm doing? Just have to wait and see, I guess. I was able to get it to the right length. So just using what's handy. I don't know what I did with the other one, but technically paper is wood. Right now, put a little bit of the wood glue right here. So hold that until it's dry. This isn't completely dry yet, but it's dry enough to start working with it. Can you tell what it is now? I know every one of us has had this situation come up at one time or another. Here's a sheet of toilet paper and I cut a piece about the right size. Need to cut a little bit more at this end. So now I can add the toilet paper. Now to add just a little touch of that. Here's a question. How do you do your toilet paper? Do you have it going down the front or going down the back? Just a question. No hateful comments. Might still be just a little bit too big, but it's kind of late now. At least that'll help with the bulk right there. So now you can tell what it is. It's a toilet paper holder with not a lot left on it. Since it started heading in this direction, we have an adorable bathtub and an adorable little toilet. My wonderful neighbor gave me a few things, and these were included, but that isn't Sutherlands related. The bathtub is fairly deep. I like the contouring of it. It's not just a plain bathtub. You can see the different shape there. I love this faucet. Doesn't have handles, but that can be easily remedied. That should be easy to reproduce too, if I want to make it for something else. The toilet looks a little small, but I think it'll work. It comes attached to a piece of wood, and it has a pink lid that actually comes up. And it is plastic. My neighbor is totally awesome. Thank you so much for this. I'm not too sure about the pink lid for the toilet. I may paint that later. I think white would be better. We were gifted these at the very last minute. These are so cool. They have the Sutherlands on the front. It has a map of the United States with all their locations. And when you open it up, it has conversions, weights, and measures on the inside cover and the back. Very cool to have. In the middle, you have lots of blank sheets of lined paper. So I thought I would do something interesting with that. Let's make a book. This, which is a piece of junk mail envelope, to make a template. I went ahead and cut out a bunch of pages. So I'm going to take a few and we're going to go ahead and bend them. There's several ways to do this, but I'm going to go the easiest route and use a tiny stapler. It uses regular size staples though, so you will have, and of course it's not going to do it right. Oh, lovely. All right, so what we're going to do is improvise. I'm going to take this and do it out flat. Make sure I've got these matched at the edge. I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Hopefully it will help. I'm going to take it and do that. But now I can push it through and then bend these over. I was able to fold those down, so now we have a little book, but it doesn't look all that great just yet. Let's make a cover. I'm going to use the map. Let's see how we can do. Now for these, I'm going to just cut out around these shapes, and that'll get me my cover. Out of only a few sheets of paper, I went ahead and made 3 inserts for the books. They each have about 5 or 6 pieces, so it's about 10 to 12 sheets. I cut up the back, so these can be encyclopedias of geography. All I'm going to do for these 3 is fold these and glue them to the back. Now this one is not going to be left behind. I have extra sheets. These are loose, so I am going to glue them together on the edge, and then when this is folded, glue them into the spine. So let's put some glue on this. I'm going to use tacky glue. That's my go-to. It's not going to need a lot. Come on, there we go. Make sure I get all the papers and a little bit over on each side. Then I'm going to take my second clip and hold it like that. Transfer that one. And if I do this way, now I can set it up on end. I think I am going to take my finger and smooth it out. And now that can stand and dry overnight, or a couple of hours, or at least until it's done. Going to take the first one. I am not going to put a ton of this because a little goes a long way with tacky glue. Now I take this, line it up with the spine, and make sure that it's secure. I'm getting glue all over myself, but that's all right. This is a messy craft. All you have to do is let it dry and cut off the excess. Book 1 done. I let these dry overnight, and let's see how they turned out. I don't think those clamps were the best idea, but with a little bit of shaping up, this turns into a really cute book. All we have to do is trim up the edges. And there we have it. A couple of pages are a little stuck on there, but it's easy enough to pull them apart. We can trim this. Looking nice. With this one, we had set this aside and let it dry overnight, and it's It's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to take this and put it on the inside as a liner, and then we can glue it to that. Make it look nicer. I ended up having to cut a different piece because the other ones weren't big enough. So, spread the glue out. And as odd as it is, I want this part as the inside of the book. So, face that down, put it all together. I did not bend the internal piece. We'll have to see if it does well. Well, it's wet, it doesn't matter, I guess. Let's let that dry. And then we'll add this. Where this did not cover all the way, I'm going to take a piece of black poster board and just use it as a trim, just to see how that looks. Go ahead and crease it where I need it. Now all I have to do is glue it in. Go ahead and use the extra glue, not to waste it. Then that can go right there. Now to work on this part. We can go ahead and just add it onto this and this. I think that's going to jazz it up just a little and cover mistakes. I'm pressing it down in there. Apparently I got a little bit everywhere else. Add some in here and along here. And then this can go like so. And it did cover all the way. And now, more drying time. I've let this dry so we can take these off. It's got a nice coat. I can't even feel the paper. We're gonna glue it right in here. Looks like we need to trim it though. Let's go ahead and do that beforehand. I'm gonna have this hold here just in case I mess up. I'm human, it's possible. Okay, these are pretty sharp, so I like these. Now we can insert. That's nice. I am going to put the glue, put that there. That should be all I need. Right here in the crevice. Yeah, I think I put too much. That's me. I am not wanting this to glue onto these pages. Alright, I've come up with this convoluted way of getting it to dry. I have large clamps on each side, keeping it away from the paper, and these keeping it aligned perfectly at a 90-degree angle. Let's hope it works. In the meantime, here's how these turned out, and they look pretty cute. There's the front of that one, and there you go. Neat. If I were to do this again, when I go to clamp it shut, I'm going to put a piece of cardboard on the outside so that it doesn't get these marks right there. Just a hindsight 2020 tip. Let's see how this fared. Feels pretty good. Yay, it stayed in. Now we can fold it. Now let's do this. And we can take my trusty scissors. And there we go. There's the last book. Cool. There's our geography encyclopedias. Try saying that 5 times fast. Sutherlands gave me a stack of these, and I would like to share them with you if you'd want one. Just let me know in the comments below. I am going to have to confine it to the mainland of the United States. I can't afford the overseas postage. Let me know. Something I noticed is right here. The back edge where I folded it, not doing so hot. If I were to do this again, I would cut this and then make sure that there's a trim piece to go around the edge. I'm going to use these scissors and make a tiny incision back here so that we can put the faucet through. Doesn't need to be very big. That was probably too big. I'm using a piece of wire from the bundle of wires we had earlier. Okay, that actually doesn't look half bad. Place the sink in here. There we go. And voila. Simple piece of wire. Perfect. Alright, let's play around and set up a scene. Let's place that there. That can go right there. The tub can go in the corner. And perfect. The only item we're missing is toilet paper. And let's put that right there. And there we have it. So we started out with this table, and here's the tabletop. Not bad if I do say so myself. Definitely worth the time and effort. And you can always go back to the original if I ever find that insert. So we've made the tabletop, we've made our sink and countertop, we've made our toilet paper holder and toilet paper roll, we've made our books, we've come up with a plate, and 2 cutting boards. It's been jam-packed with crafty goodness. Hit that like button if you liked it, and don't forget to give that bell a ring-a-ding if you want to see future videos. I'd love to hear your comments down below. Until next time, toodaloo!